idiot. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the We Love Wrestling podcast with your hosts, Josh and
Rusty.
Is that it?
Yes?
Question mark? I almost forgot your name.
What is my name?
What is a name?
What is this? Where am I?
What is this?
What's this?
What are we doing right now?
Who are you? Who am I? How did I get here?
Who are we? But like, truly, how did we get here? You know?
That's a deep question.
What is the meaning of life? Whatever your name is.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
all right, podcast over.
Maybe find it. The meaning. It's the meaning.
Ah, shit. That's deep as hell, Rusty.
Thanks.
Nice.
Hey, you remember me?
It was a bit.
We have fun here.
Welcome to the show where your hosts Rusty and I break down our love for this weird ass business known as professional wrestling.
And we completely streamline it. We have no tangents.
Yep, no tangents. We're very serious. No jokes, no bits.
This is a comedy-free zone. So
yeah.
If you're looking for if you're harboring jokes, we will report you to the
police. We're gonna call the
JFBI. Joke FBI. Are you harboring jokes in there?
Listen, if you make a joke in any of our comments sections, we will call Jeremy Hadley and have you deported. I'm just having to say that. Anyways, okay. What?
Also, no cuts.
Yeah, no cuts whatsoever.
None.
I'm gonna add a cut there, and it won't even matter. But I'm gonna do it anyways. No.
Now you know where to find it. You're welcome.
Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. We're really enjoying making these, and honestly, it's the only time Rusty and I hang out anymore.
Yeah,
we were just talking about that off recording.
Yeah, like before we started. I don't think we have hung out just normally hung out since we started doing this.
We haven't.
But you know, it's
got
fine.
to though.
It's fine. That's a big reason why I don't mind the tangents so much.
Yeah.
It lets us actually hang out a little.
Yeah. We've even been skipping the pay-per-views, honestly.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I didn't see the last premium live event, which makes me feel like a bad wrestling fan.
Makes me feel. I mean, only if you're hosting a podcast, right?
Listen, I do keep up with it. Like, I know what happened.
Yeah, same.
Right? So, I mean, it's not like I'm just completely out of the loop. I will honestly probably start watching full time again once it goes back to Netflix, because
yes,
that's gonna be that's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
isn't it gonna be Raw and SmackDown, right?
I think it's just Raw, but I could be wrong.
Either way, Raw's my favorite. Even though Cody's on SmackDown, but I feel like at some point they're just gonna start exchanging talent like they do anyways normally.
Yeah, that's how brand splits usually end anyway. So we are also thinking about the next episode doing it on that new Vince McMahon documentary.
Yeah, we're giving it some thought. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
That would be. I
don't know about fun. It'd be interesting.
It'd be something we'd have to do all day because it's a 6-parter and each part's an hour.
Yeah.
So I figure we could, if you do want to do it, I could come in significantly earlier that day, and we could order some food and then just go straight to recording afterwards.
Yeah.
It would be an all-day thing, though.
Yeah, we'll probably make notes on each episode so we don't forget something. Yeah. It'd be very interesting, though. You comfortable? Or is that chair starting to suck for you?
I'm good.
Rusty's tough.
I'm a tough guy.
What can I say? What is this SpongeBob thing?
Oh, you mean when he's like trying to get into the salty spittoon?
Yeah.
Welcome to the salty spittoon. How tough are you?
You got those inflatable fucking tough guy arms with the anchors on it.
Yeah. I had a bowl of nails for breakfast. Yes, so without any milk.
Oh my god!
We'll go right on it.
Yeah, so. Well, I think that's about enough for idle chit chat, non-wrestling. These people came for some wrestling chat, Rusty.
Yeah, we better give the people what they want.
I like how I'm sitting as far back from the microphone as I possibly can.
And I'm kind of like maybe too close.
You're like practically licking it. Oh man. So today we are talking about underrated wrestling related topics, right? So we have, obviously we all have my favorite wrestler is Shawn Michaels, my favorite match blank, but there are those that people don't think about that should be rated higher than they are. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
So
let's go ahead and jump right on in. Let's start with the most underrated wrestler.
The first name that comes to my mind is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yes, he is not one you hear talking about a whole lot. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure he's mostly retired.
He is retired, but I mean, he hasn't came back in a very long time. But the last time he came back,
I mean, I don't know if he does indie shows.
He just straight up, he never loses a step.
Yeah,
he could come back right now and probably put on a 5-star match.
And he's also one of the best sellers to ever come out of business.
Ricky Steamboat's so fucking good. I was talking about this the other day. It's like somebody commented like all these like old wrestlers need to stay away because they're just taking time up from, and they're not good anymore. I'm like, okay, but the fucking
did they have Ricky Steamboat?
Well, I was like, well, the exception to that rule is Ricky Steamboat because that dude puts on a fucking top level match every time.
Was this on Facebook?
Definitely. I'm old.
Facebook is where opinions go to die.
Yeah, I know. I'm on Facebook a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly, I should probably stop that.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
but then again, that's where I push our podcast the most. So
yeah, true. I mean, we should probably figure out somewhere else. Facebook's kind of gross.
Yeah, I know. Fucking fucking Mark Zuckerberg.
Mike Zuckerberg.
Yeah, we don't even respect him enough to say his name right. Fuck that guy.
Mark Thew.
Zuckerbergison. But so who, in your opinion, do you think is the most underrated wrestler?
Oh, that's a tough one. There are quite a few. But whenever I think of underrated wrestlers, who really comes to my mind is William Regal.
Oh, such a good answer. I think I had this exact same. For those out of the loop and didn't listen to the last episode, this is the second time we've recorded this underrated episode because my dumbass didn't push a button. And I think I had this exact same reaction the last time because I think you brought up William Regal and I was like, shit, that's such a good answer.
He's so good, but you never hear anybody talking about just how good he is.
It's because all of the things that make him good are so subtle.
Exactly. He never really had a great. He was never given a great gimmick or a great character or anything like that. So it's hard
He's a man.
It's hard to really thrive without one.
True. William Regal is, in my book, one of the greatest heels of all time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think on the pilot episode, I did put him in my list of greatest heels. he's like the blueprint of a good heel.
Yes.
Honestly, like every little tiny subtle move he does is just there's no wasted motion. Everything he does is like telling a story. Like, for example, if you look at, he's always holding one hand behind his back. True, maybe it's him just being a proper like English gentleman, and like maybe he's standing proper,
or maybe he's reaching to grab his brass knucks.
Exactly,
and pop you in the face.
Exactly, you never really know, which is such a fucking beautiful touch. William Regal's so good. I'd kill to have him on the podcast. I would kill a small family in Minecraft.
In Minecraft specifically.
Yeah, exactly. No, William Regal's a great answer. Who do you think is the most underrated right now?
Right now, that's a tough one.
I have one that popped up in my head, but I'm curious what you would say.
Let's hear yours first.
Chad motherfucking Gable.
You know,
now he's gaining traction. The internet is starting to like get really behind him.
I was gonna say it depends on who you ask, because with the brass at WWE for a real long time, absolutely underrated. But with the internet crowd, I think Chad Gable's always been given his flowers.
That's a fair point.
But to be fair,
all right, go ahead.
But yeah, overall, to be fair, I agree with you. He is a very underrated wrestler.
All right, then I'll throw out somebody else in his like sphere. Otis. Otis deserves credit for how he moves as a big man like he is. Yes. And also just how charismatic that man is.
Yeah.
He's good.
I know what you mean.
There's so many. I think the entire roster is underrated right now. So many people shit on wrestling now. Or I guess not like it was. I'm like, no, it's not. It's fucking better. It is. It's better now than it ever has been. That's my spicy take.
You're always going to have that nostalgia bias with people.
Here's my real spicy opinion. Attitude Era, as far as in-ring action, sucked.
Yeah, I mean, with some exceptions, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'd already talked about Shawn Michaels, fucking Ricky Steamboat, even at the tail end.
Well, Shawn Michaels wasn't around in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, he kind of did. You're right. He kind of did skip the Attitude Era with the losing his smile and injury. You're right.
That's more Rock and Stone Cold.
Yeah. In-ring during first of all, the Attitude Era, the in-ring stars, in my opinion, were the cruiserweights.
Yes.
Rey Mysterio was there damn near the entire Attitude Era, and people don't really realize it.
I thought he was in WCW during the
but that's part of the. When I say Attitude Era, I include.
Okay, so
I include WCW and WWF, whatever you want to call it. Attitude Era, you cannot talk about one without the other. It was a war.
Fair.
So
glad we hammered that out.
Yeah. So whenever I say Attitude Era, I might bring up somebody on WCW. I know that they were on WCW, but they were part of the Attitude Era as well. Even though widely Attitude Era is a WWF term. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I know we just jumped around like fucking crazy. But who do you think is the most underrated right now?
That's a really tough one for me. I can't.
See, I almost just said Dominic Mysterio, but that man's not underrated. He's perfectly rated how he is. Incredible heel. God damn, that kid has grown into his shoes. Shit.
Right.
I hated him at first. Like, literally, I thought he sucked. I did. I'll come out and say it. I thought he sucked. When he was with Ray, I was like, man, I don't know if this kid's going to make it. He didn't pull off the, like, baby face very well. But when he became a heel, holy shit, that kid shined. Listen, I think Eddie's his real dad. I think the meme is true.
You know, we're going modern, as in like today. Who do you think is pretty underrated? Because they weren't always underrated. They used to be appropriately appropriately rated, but now I don't hear people talk about them as much. The tag team DIY.
Oh my God, Johnny Gargano is incredible,
and so is
Tommaso Ciampa. Incredible. Have you seen what Tommaso Ciampa has been doing online? Backstage, he keeps trying to RKO Randy Orton. That's so good because him and Johnny Gargano will be hiding, and Johnny Gargano will be trying to talk him out of it. He's like, "You don't have to do this, man. You don't." He's like, "I'm gonna get him. And then he goes out of nowhere every time, and then Randy just kind of moves a little. Like he'll be on the phone. Randy will be on the phone, like kind of in the background. Like he'll just kind of move. Like he'll Samoa Joe it. He'll just kind of barely move.
Sidestep.
And Tommaso will go flying out of frame. It's so funny. And then it'll cut to Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And Tommaso will be holding his head or something, and it'll just be going stupid. It's so funny. But oh my God, dude, DIY they have all the tools to be the GOATs. Like seriously, like Johnny Gargano has all the tools to be the. I normally say next Shawn Michaels, but that's not fair.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean.
The first Johnny Gargano is the best way to put it.
Dude, Johnny Gargano is one of my favorite wrestlers current. He's so good.
And Ciampa, I think, as well.
I'm not shitting on Ciampa. I love Ciampa too. I just mean like, God, Johnny's so good.
No, like I said, especially during their heyday in NXT when they were in that like blood feud.
Oh, dude, when they feud, dude, Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano is I got chills thinking about the feud. It was fucking incredible.
Now that was appropriately rated.
Yeah.
But I feel since then that they kind of dropped off a little, and I don't really hear people talking about them that much.
Not nearly enough.
So I'm gonna say nowadays.
I couldn't agree more. I don't know why I didn't think about them. That's totally correct. Although it's kind of crazy that they have Tommaso Ciampa running the whole WWE, according to R-Truth. Have you seen that clip?
No, I haven't.
When they changed, when R-Truth and The Miz were tag team champions, and they unveiled the new championships, R-Truth was like, "Why are you out here, Tommaso Ciampa?" And Triple H is like, "What?" He's like, and the Miz like, "What are you talking about? That's Triple H." He's like, "Oh, I see. He's got the wool pulled over your eyes too. I can tell what you're doing, Tommaso Ciampa." R-Truth, listen. R-Truth is widely considered the funniest guy in the WWE right now. I think even that is being underrated. I think he is like a national treasure who should be protected at all costs. I fucking love Ron Simmons, and I fucking love Ron Killings, and I have to damn.
Literally.
I'm leaving it. You know what? I'm not gonna dirty delete that.
You know what? It's okay. It's okay. I really like Mark Henry too.
Oh, Fincier. God damn it. Anyways, I love R-Truth.
Who's here?
Fincer.
Oh, I thought you said Finn is here. I was like, who?
Who the fuck is Finn? You talking about Balor? Holy shit!
Finn Balor's here.
Now welcome our guest, Finn Balor. Yes, hello. I don't know Russian.
I thought he was Irish.
What don't you know now? Top of the morning to you. What the fuck? God damn it. All right.
Oh, God.
I fucking love R-Truth. And I have to say, I'm going to add him to to my list of one of the most underrated wrestlers. The man is fucking talent.
Yes.
I think he's a lot like Santino Marella, when the fact that he's just having a lot of fun being the comedic guy. He could go. Like, that dude probably has the talent, definitely has the talent to be like main event.
Yeah.
Even in his 50s. He's in his 50s. He's old as shit, wrestling wise.
He's still in great shape.
God, he looks like he's 25. He's incredible. Anyways, what were we talking about?
Let's go ahead and move on to match here.
Ooh, I have my answer. And I'm going to have to do this again. So right away, for some of these I have to think about it for a while. Right away, one of my favorite matches of all time, and I think I probably put it in the pilot match, but since we're talking about it again, I'm going to bring it up. There was a match between Edge and Randy Orton on February 1st. Nope.
April.
It was December 13th. 2004, I believe, is the one. There was also one in 2007, but I am fairly certain it was the one from Raw in 2004. God damn it, I don't know which one it is.
I feel like it's...
So for most of these So for most of these topics, I really have to think about it first. Like, I have to give it some thought. For this one, I have a specific match. And I know I brought it up during the pilot, I'm pretty sure. Because this match has stuck with me for that long. My favorite match of all time is Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. I could never call that underrated. Because that's literally most people's favorite match of all time.
Right.
Or at least their favorite WrestleMania match of all time. It was incredible. There was a match between Randy Orton and Edge on the April 30th, 2007 edition of Raw that blew my freaking mind and was one of the things that really cemented my love of professional wrestling. It was so good. It was just a regular Raw match. And it was unbelievable.
So this was in 2007, so you were 20 when this episode came out. I was 12. Just think about that for a second, man.
Man, fuck you, Rusty.
There is a very real chance that while you were 20, and watching this, so was 12-year-old me.
Damn it. I'm old. Yeah. So if you haven't seen that match, though, I highly recommend it. It's on YouTube under Randy Orton versus Edge, Bloody, Raw, April 30th, 2007. I don't remember it being all that bloody, but during that time period, it happened sometimes.
Yeah.
But holy shit, it was so good. That's what cemented Randy Orton as one of my favorite wrestlers of all time too. Like,
yeah,
he's so good. Every movement he makes in the ring is just so good. And I don't even have to tell you why Edge is good. He's fucking Edge. So,
yeah,
I fully recommend giving that a watch. So, Russ, do you have any ideas?
Yes, actually, I remembered what I said last time. So, my underrated match,
Lesnar versus Goldberg at WrestleMania 20.
Oh yes, absolutely. No, but no.
Sorry.
In all honesty, it's one that I don't really hear people talking about, despite the fact it's a great match. WrestleMania 17, Kurt Angle versus Redacted.
That's right. Dude, that was such a good match. Redacted put on such a... Hold on. That's right. Dude, that match was crazy. Redacted put on one hell of a show.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we could talk in length about Redacted. and what he did, but like at the end of the day, Redacted was one hell of a like technical.
Do you think maybe we should just get, because every time somebody watches something wrestling related that isn't actually wrestling, like a podcast or something, eventually they talk about Redacted. We should probably go ahead and just say that, because we talked about this in the last episode. You know, whenever it comes to somebody like this, or a situation like this, or maybe something where it's not quite as serious, where it's nowhere near as serious, like say J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
You know, where a famous figure known for doing something that people making or doing something that people love, and then it turns out, oh no, they weren't a great person.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this when we recorded this last. You know, you gotta learn to separate the art from the artist sometimes,
mm-hmm.
but you gotta also know where to draw your line with artists. So we can acknowledge that Redacted was a fantastic wrestler,
mm-hmm.
absolutely, but we're not gonna sit here. We're not gonna be like those marks trying to say like, he was probably actually innocent or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. You know, what he did was monstrous in those last few days. But as wrestling fans, it would feel disingenuous to not acknowledge his mark on the wrestling business and what he contributed to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, if anybody disagrees, if they think maybe I'm trying to have my foot in both camps too hard, yeah, you're probably right. I might be. But I genuinely believe that you can't quite ignore somebody who's made as big of a mark in, you know, let's just drop the joke for a second. Chris Benoit. You can't deny the impact he had on the business. But we're not, just because we might acknowledge him or hit a match of his in our most underrated, does not mean we support what he did in any way.
Right. Yeah.
Like I believe you've seen, in the previous recording, we talked about that Paul Heyman video, mm-hmm. where he told off that guy for calling Chris Benoit, quote unquote, my boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, so Heyman
essentially said, like, only one person had the choice in that house that during that period, and it was Chris.
What Heyman said, I think, was pretty apt. I am paraphrasing, and I may be misremembering. Just go look it up yourself, Paul Heyman on Chris Benoit. I'm sure you'll find it. But what he said, basically, I can't remember the context, but Heyman mentioned Benoit in a video during an interview or a panel or something, and someone in the crowd shouted, "My boy! That's my boy!" when he referenced Benoit.
Chris Benoit.
Yeah, and Heyman's like, man, just screw you. Look, if you want to acknowledge what he did for the wrestling business, fine. If you want to say that some of your favorite matches were his, fine. But don't you dare call him my boy. And if you say it, then screw you.
Yeah. Yeah. Essentially what he said, which is, I think, correct. I think is the best way to look at it.
But I thought maybe we should say it just to be safe. I don't think this is our first time mentioning him on the show.
Sorry. Good podcasting. Just bang, wrenches on the fucking table.
This isn't our first time mentioning Benoit, but it's the first time we've mentioned him in depth, so I figured maybe it would probably be a good idea for us to.
Yeah, and going forward, the joke, the reducted joke, is going to continue. Anytime we mention him, it is a joke, but it's also because we don't want to acknowledge we're okay acknowledging the things he did, like the wrestling things he did, but we don't think he deserves enough respect to say his name going forward.
Yeah.
So we're acknowledging the stuff he did in the ring, not the person he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably the last time we're going to actually say his name. From here on out, it's just the comedic joke. It's just the comedic reductive.
Yeah. Yep. Having said that, back to the topic.
Yes, back to what I was.
Kurt Angle versus Reductive was a banger.
Yes, that absolutely was just a technical masterpiece.
And everybody knew it was going to be going into it. We were like, well,
how could you
grab your fucking popcorn? This shit's about to be crazy. And it was.
Oh, absolutely. I would highly recommend anyone look it up on either Peacock or the network, depending on where you live.
Was it cut? Or can you still see it?
I don't think they cut it.
Interesting. I don't know.
But then again, it's been a while since I've watched the match, so maybe they cut it.
If it's still in, watch that. I mean, obviously, there's also the Redacted versus who was it at Mania when? Oh wait, was that when Redacted won the championship?
No. Redacted versus Kurt Angle was Mania 17. The one where Redacted won the world title was 20.
20, yeah, that's right. And then the like final scene of Mania was him, Ray. Was it Ray?
No.
Him and Ray hugging.
Are you joking?
No,
it was him and Eddie.
Fuck. The final scene of Mania was him and Eddie hugging, which would be probably one of my favorite moments ever in wrestling history if it wasn't for
if
being involved.
I mean, that scene, that shot upon hindsight of Eddie and Rudolph embracing each other after winning/retaining their titles, has so many tragic undertones to it.
I know. It's crazy.
In the moment when it actually happened at that exact time, it was beautiful. But now here we are, some odd years out, and
I still cry when I think about Eddie.
Yeah,
Eddie. That's why he's in my top 5. Like, man, when we talk about being the blueprint of a heel.
Yes.
Although nothing Eddie did as a heel was subtle.
No.
So he's the blueprint of how to be a non-subtle heel. Like William Regal is the subtle heel with all the like small, beautiful, like little details. And Eddie's like the punch you in the face, steal your fucking Royal Rumble spot.
Actually, the only time he ever did that was when he was a face, I believe.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Eddie was always a heel. Even as a face, it was a face heel.
Or do you mean like the lie, cheat, and steal?
Yeah.
I love that bit where he swapped him and
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair's.
That was Height of Evolution too.
Yes, it was.
It was so good. It's not recording. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so let's move on to our next topic here. Let's see, we did wrestler, we did match. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Most underrated Pixar movie.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many. Rusty, do you have an idea?
Let's see here. I don't know if it's underrated. I mean, it's hard to pick an underrated Pixar movie because It's all of them are so well known. One I don't hear people talking about as much is probably Ratatouille. It's hard because people do talk about Ratatouille. Yeah. They do love it, but maybe not as much as other Pixar movies.
Right. Yeah. Ratatouille is great. Mine is a bit of a spicy opinion. I think the most underrated Pixar movie is Cars 2.
Blink, 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 blink.
Listen, it's essentially an animated James Bond movie.
Walk me through what you about the value that you think Cars 2 brings.
Listen, Mater is a very complicated and like a nuanced character, and I think he doesn't get a shine enough, which is why Cars 2 does that so well, in my opinion.
Okay, excuse me a second. I'm going to just go grab a steel chair real quick. But you know what? Fine. If you like Cars 2, Josh, I will not.
And it's got Michael Caine in it.
Does it?
Yeah. Michael Caine plays the fucking the spy, like the English spy car.
The Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Yeah.
You thought that one was gonna slip by me, but it didn't. Okay, let's move on before our audience gets any more angry. Most underrated finisher.
Oh yeah. The buzzsaw. The buzzsaw kick is first of all, Tajiri is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I should have mentioned him during underrated wrestler. Tajiri was good as a comedic relief because I don't know if he could actually speak English well or if he actually couldn't speak it well, but he did so well at playing that character, especially in response to the Mr. McMahon character. He did so well at doing the whole, like, I can't speak. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in wrestling was Vince.
I know where you're going with this, but go on.
Tajiri was standing with a bunch of other wrestlers, and Vince is like, well, I'm going to take off. Who wants to go to a strip club with me? And he's looking around, these guys just dressed in ring gear. He's like, Tajiri, you come with me. He's like, Tajiri, no shirt. He's in his ring gear. And Tajiri's just looking around like, what the hell's going on? He's like, come on. I've never seen. I don't know how to explain it, and I've looked for it, and I cannot find it online. If somebody could find that, that would be hilarious. And you can send that to me. You get extra points.
Which cannot be redeemed for anything.
It can be redeemed for all the things.
Nothing.
Don't listen to us.
We can't give you anything. We have no money.
Redeem them anytime you want.
Not at all.
But the buzzsaw is one of my favorite finishers of all time, and I don't think anybody talks about it.
The buzzsaw kick is really amazing.
They nerfed it in the newer wrestling games because it used to be they would when you triggered it from while they're laying and by their head, and so they'd start to feed up like he would do in real life, and once you got to a certain point, bam, right. But now it's a corner finisher for some fucking reason.
That's weird.
So you trigger it, they feed up because any corner move they have to feed completely up and turn around. So when you do the buzzsaw in the new games, they completely stand up, feet up, turn around, and then fall back to their knees. It looks so stupid.
For me, I'm a big fan of the ankle lock.
Yeah?
It's so simple. He's just grabbing their ankle and twisting it.
Yeah.
But he's so good at, like, Kurt Angle is so great with the intensity in which he
everything he does.
Yeah.
It's so funny because he's such a comedic guy sometimes, and then other times he's the most intense fucking dude,
the most
ever.
menacing, most terrifying man.
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. I wouldn't fuck with him, and I mean he's legit. Like I wouldn't fuck with that guy.
I mean, he won a gold medal in
with
wrestling
a broken freaking neck.
With a broken freaking neck.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to most underrated seller.
I mean, everybody. My first thought was Dolph Ziggler, but that man doesn't. He's the most I wouldn't say oversold, but the most sold seller of all time. Like everybody knows, one of my favorite gimmicks from back in the day was sells Batista bomb, explodes. I still have that saved on my Facebook somewhere. I think I do have to mention, if we're talking underrated sellers, I think when Roman Reigns returned at Survivor, was it Survivor Series?
Yeah.
Now?
You mean... No. Recently he returned
SummerSlam. Sorry. I do have to mention when Roman Reigns returned at SummerSlam, Solo Sikoa sold the shit out of that Superman punch and that spear.
Yes, he did.
But I'm like, I have to say, I guarantee if he would have undersold that at all, they would have fired his ass. They would have fucking beheaded him and hung. You cannot sell that. You know how much that would have shit on the entire storyline if he would have just been or something
For me, I wouldn't call him underrated in general, but as a seller, he is a very generous seller when you take into account just who he is.
Solo?
I was going to say Brock Lesnar.
Oh, Brock, yeah. He's like a monster. I don't like him as a person, but as a fighter, he's a monster.
You would look at a guy, a monster like that, and you would think, oh, he's not going to sell anything. But he always sells really well for his
fights. This is not to shit on Cody, but Cody is not the biggest dude. And if you want a true example of how good Brock is at selling, watch their feud from when Cody first returned. Watch the matches they put out. Brock sold the shit out of everything Cody hit him with. It was awesome.
I remember as well a few years back, he had a match with Finn Balor at the Royal Rumble a few years back.
Yeah.
And nobody thought he was going to win that. Nobody thought Brock was going to win that. But the way he sold, because he's got that whole thing with his dagger. So his abdomen, his stomach is his weak spot.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, Balor, I believe he did his shotgun drop kick on Lesnar from behind, and it ended up hitting Brock against the corner of the announce table, and Brock was having trouble moving that entire match. He couldn't even German Finn.
Yeah.
So because of that, just because of Brock selling, a lot of people actually thought, for just a little bit at least, that Finn might actually pull a miracle out.
Yeah. That's kind of what he has to do, though, because
Yeah, obviously, because he's got to be a good seller, because for the longest time, he was the final boss of pro wrestling.
I mean, he's the final boss of humanity. I mean, again, I'm not a big Brock Lesnar guy, as a person, whatever, but that is a scary human being, just as a human.
Yeah, if fighting everyone in a giant gauntlet style match were a video game,
and it started from the least to the most scariest human,
Brock would be the final person.
100. It wouldn't even be it's not even a fucking contest.
Well, I mean, he'd probably be second last. Last would be me.
That's right. That's right. Oh man, that's right. Fucking right, Rusty.
I'm just kidding. I am not a tough man. Please don't try to fight me.
No, what Rusty really meant to say is, Brock Lesnar, you're a little bitch, and you should come fight him. Rusty wants to fight.
No. Cut that. I don't want to die. Cut that.
Brock Lesnar doesn't think you actually want to fight him. Man.
No,
that's fine.
Cut it. I am requesting that you cut that.
Okay.
And this. Please don't put that on.
I kind of want to leave you begging to cut it in. I kind of want to leave the whole thing in, because then it will be clear that A, you don't want to fight, and it's kind of funny that you're begging me right now to cut it. It's up to you. All right. But yeah. What was the topic we were on?
Lesnar and how tough he is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we got through with Seller. Most underrated. You put comedic here. Are you talking about comedic moment or comedic wrestler?
Comedic wrestler is what I was getting at.
Underrated comedic wrestlers.
I think we've touched on some of them, like Kurt. Kurt's so funny, but I think people realize, like, I don't think he's underrated.
I guess I see what you mean. I'm gonna go with an era. The second coming of DX, I think, is kind of underrated in terms of comedy.
I concur. I think people shit on it a lot because it was PG, but I think that made it funnier.
Yeah, because
I actually prefer the second coming of DX over the original.
Yes, because it's a lot funnier to imply something disgusting rather than actually just show
exactly,
something
and
disgusting.
It forced them to be funnier because they couldn't just say like fucking offensive things to be funny. They had to like play around with it. Like one of my favorite second coming of DX moments was, I don't know, maybe slightly racist, but I don't think it was. It was Raw was in UK, and Crime Time. When Jonathan Coachman kicked DX out of the arena, and they weren't allowed to come back in.
Yes, I remember
that. They were hanging outside. They're like, "What are we gonna do?" And then they heard Crime Time selling scalping tickets. Okay, so like, So they go over and they try to talk, but Crime Time has all their vernacular and stuff, and Shawn and Triple H are the whitest people in the world. So they're like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" And then Shawn pulls Triple H aside and says, "Hold on. I speak jive."
Oh no!
And then hey, what's up? It was fucking ridiculous, but it was so funny. It was so funny, and I mean, clearly they got Crime Time to. The thing that made it acceptable, in my opinion, is afterwards, after Shawn said his whole spiel in what he called jive, Crime Time looked at each other like, "The fuck," and they're like, "All right."
What about you for underrated comedy? Or do you want to just piggyback off my?
I think that's what I did the first time I recorded this. I piggybacked because like
me just
honestly that is like the best answer. I do think the second coming of DX was better, which a lot of people disagree.
Yeah, I think that's one you and I are united on.
Also, like the time they took over the show and then got on his jet, it was so good.
They spray painted the DX logo on it.
And Titan Tower, which is about to be sold off in real life. Yes. Which is an end of an era. That's nuts. I'd love to buy it. Somebody said Endeavor should buy it from WWE or whatever and then turn it into an actual physical WWE Hall of Fame.
They should.
That would be sick. Or a fan should do it.
I'm kind of surprised there isn't one yet.
I know. It would be crazy.
It would be.
There would be a lot of physical objects that I would drive to.
Same.
I would absolutely drive there. So, all right.
Let's move on to. Actually, we're gonna wrap it up with a underrated show / underrated card.
Yeah.
You know what I really liked when I was a kid? Do you remember those Raw Roulette episodes?
Where they...
Yeah, where it's like a Wheel of Fortune thing where they spin the wheel.
Yeah, I always thought that was awesome. And even back then as a kid, I'm like, how do they gimmick this? Like, how do they, like, because they have to plan ahead. Some of these are like, oh, it might be a cage match. Like, you have to plan ahead for that shit. How do they just shoot that scene over and over again until they get the right one?
I mean, I imagine
part of me is like, maybe they do like randomize it.
I mean, you got to imagine that. I mean, they work off the cuff a lot anyway.
Yeah. And
even so, I'm sure most matches you can work most beats of whatever story you were wanting to tell into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, the roulette matches were great. The roulette shows were great. I didn't even think about that. That was a good answer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know!
And with that, I'm kidding. It's hard. This is a hard one because, as I said earlier, I'm really bad at remembering dates and like numbers, and I'm like, I can't be like WrestleMania blank. I do have to say, and I don't know if it's underrated per se, it is just a nostalgia thing. I had a DVD of WrestleMania 20, or was it 21? I don't know.
What was the main event?
I know. Okay, I know the set looked like burning buildings when the Kane came out.
The set looked like burning buildings,
or just like, so I think it was in New York.
Because I don't remember. I believe 20 was the one. 20 was the one where 20 I actually believe took place in New York. 21 took place in Hollywood.
It wasn't that one. So it was 20. I had a DVD of WrestleMania 20 that I watched over and over again. And I think from start to finish, that was such a good card. And I don't know if that's underrated. Do people say that that's like the best WrestleMania?
I'm not sure what people think. I tend to avoid the opinions of other wrestling fans. That makes me sound pretentious.
We're better than them. Is all we're saying.
That's all it is.
We're better than them.
But there's one thing.
One thing you can take from this podcast is that we're better than the average wrestler.
We're better than you.
Okay,
you can take.
We're joking.
It's that we're better than you. I'm not.
Rusty's not joking.
Yeah,
Rusty's better than everybody.
No, I'm just kidding. I am. I am joking.
No. Yeah, if that is a good underrated answer, then that's what I'm going to go for. I happen to think that might be considered one of the best WrestleManias.
I'm not like giving your answer a hard time, but putting a WrestleMania.
WrestleMania, that's a good point.
Unless you want to say like a WrestleMania that's genuinely considered bad by most people, like 9 or 27.
Yeah.
Those are generally considered bad manias.
Yeah, no, those were terrible.
God, 27 was rough.
Yeah, I'm so bad at remembering individual.
That was the one where the main event. The main event was John Cena versus The Miz.
Oh, was that in Detroit?
And that was like before The Miz became really cool.
Was that with Alex Riley?
Yes.
Yes. Alex Riley, also underrated, in my opinion. I actually really liked Alex Riley.
Yeah, and it was hosted by The Rock, and I thought that would save it.
It did not. Was that in Detroit?
You know, I want to say yes.
Cool fucking Cena entrance if it was. That was one of my favorite of his entrances. He came in a Mustang and drove through glass. I thought it was sick.
I know the one you're talking about. I'm not sure if that's the same one.
I don't know either. That's an underrated Cena entrance because everybody talks about the Mafia entrance where he was like shit. But I think
Remember when he came down with his army of clones?
Yeah, that was crazy. But got anything else underrated you want to throw out there, Rusty?
Nah, I think we're good.
I'll tell you what is underrated. Me going to eat dinner.
Yes, and I'm gonna go home and I don't know, do something else. I don't know, probably also eat dinner.
Hell yeah. All right, well, this has been fun, Rusty.
It has?
I guess.
Yeah, it has.
It has. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening, and let us know in any comments section that you're listening. Let us know what you'd like to hear, what topics, or really anything.
We got a few episodes ideas. We're currently hammering out the details on.
One of the things we'd like to talk about is to break down the whole bloodline storyline.
Yes.
But let us know if that sounds to be something interesting, or is it too talked about? It might be too talked about, and maybe it's.
I think it's something. Personally, I think it's something we can talk about, but I think we should give it a few years because it's still
going on.
Yeah, it's still going on. So I think we'll need to give it a few years of hindsight once it's finally done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like I said, they'll let us know. So other than that, Rusty, you got anything?
Did you mention Wolfgar Props?
I did not. Thank you, Rusty.
You're welcome.
This is the problem with recording 2 episodes in one day. I have indeed mentioned Wolfgar Props, but not in this episode. So, if you guys need any cosplay props or nerdy needs, hold on, that sounded awful. So, having said that, if you guys have any cosplay prop needs or nerdy needs, as I've been called them, can't talk.
Nerdy needs, none nerdy.
All right. On that note, if you guys have any cosplay prop needs or anything nerdy that you want, why can't I do this?
Would you like me to give it a shot?
yeah, actually.
Nerd Dad 5 off is like the
Nerd Dad 5 off. Make sure you spell it because with 2 D's.
Got it.
2 D's. Shut up. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. Rusty, maybe.
No, I'm doing the sponsor this time.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I just pushed Josh. I'm taking over this sponsorship. If you go to wolfgarprops.com, that's WULFGAR props.com. Shut up, Josh. Quit crying. I'll give you something to cry about.
Rusty, you too crying.
Once again, that's Wolfgar Props, WULFGAR props.com. You can use the quote, you can use the promo code NERDDAD5 off. That's NERDDAD 5 off. Josh, come over here. Come on, I won't hit you again.
What's up?
Do you have anything you want to say to the nice people listening to our podcast?
Only that there's like 300 products on wolfgarprops.com, and they do custom commissions. Custom commissions, yes. Make sure you mention us if you do any custom commissions.
Yes, make sure to, because they are really great at pretty much everything. I mentioned this back in the pilot, but Josh took me down to their workshop. once a while back.
And I swear we needed to give him new pants afterwards. It was awesome. It was awesome to see a nerd out. You know what I mean?
It was amazing.
We had the coolest shit. And I'm not working there at this moment anymore. However, I'm still really good friends with everybody down there. They do great work, and I fully recommend to check out their website.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. You will not regret it.
And like I said, NerdDad 5 off. Use that code. You get 5% off your order. And with that, Rusty, you got anything else?
No, I don't think so.
It's so stupid. We've recorded 2 episodes and I laughed both times.
You know, one of these days you're going to ask me that, and I'm just going to be like, actually, Josh, I'd like to take a minute to talk about something important to me, if you don't mind.
And you just gotta cut a promo on me.
Yeah.
Listen, we've been doing this for.
It's time we settled all our issues in the ring, Josh. You and me.
All right. I'll put you over. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks again. Have a good night or whatever time you're listening to this.